Hey folks, I'm about to make a salve for psoriasis, and I don't make it often, so I figured I would take it, and if you want to make it at home, you can. So for those that don't know, psoriasis is basically an issue, a condition with the immune system having an overactive immune system. So it's an autoimmune condition where basically your body produces too many white blood cells, T helper lymphocyte cells, and then those cells then create cytokines, and those give excess production of cytokines, and that then causes issues with the skin. It does all types of things to the blood vessels and things like that, and organs. So you end up with a very like thickened skin that's red and silvery, and it sheds. Not pleasant. And it flares up when you're stressed out. So it's unfortunately it's pretty common, and it's very annoying. So there are herbs that can help with this, at least with reducing the symptoms. And so, you know, you can address it internally with taking different types of herbs like milk thistle that clear out, that help with the liver. You know, basically milk thistle prevents liver cell death, and you need your liver to be in tip-top shape when you're dealing with any kind of autoimmune disease, but in particularly with psoriasis, because psoriasis flares up when you're stressed out, and we keep a lot of stress and anger in our liver, so you need your liver to be cool. Also, astragalus is also pretty good too, because it's an anti-inflammatory, so it keeps the inflammation down the body. Inflammation is linked to psoriasis. So, and then rhodiola is another good one. It calms the skin as well, from the inside out. But we're gonna focus on something you can put on the outside to kind of help manage the psoriasis. So, the couple of herbs that you would need, this pretty little concoction. This one right here is Oregon grape root, okay? Oregon grape root, I'm looking at my notes because I got too much stuff around my head, stimulates bile flow to the liver. So remember, we're gonna focus heavily on the liver. And that's important because the less pressure you can put on, like the more things you can help ease for the liver, the more likely the liver can function more properly. So this helps stimulate bile flow, which is one of the major functions of the liver, which bile breaks down fat. So that's why it's helpful. But this particular herb, Oregon grapefruit, is known to help with skin conditions like acne, eczema, boils, and things like that. So very, very good for the skin. We have yarrow leaf and flower here, this green one. That one also is really good for soothing, and it has soothing and healing properties for the skin. You can use it as a dried herb in this formula, or if you have it yarrow as a essential oil, you can use it that way as well. This pretty yellow one is calendula flower. Calendula is awesome for the skin. It actually helps create, it helps regenerate skin tissue. So when the skin breaks, it helps regenerate the skin tissue. And the last one is what you might recognize, which is turmeric. Very powerful anti-inflammatory, very powerful with supporting the liver. So, because it helps liver function. So we're going to be putting those herbs in our salve. So a salve is really just like an oil-based topical, and we're going to use two different types of oil. We're going to use cocoa butter. This is 100% raw cocoa butter, and basically this is what you need so that the salve will harden, or else you'll just have like an oil, which is fine, you can use that too, but I wanted to create something that was a little bit easier to put on and wasn't as greasy, okay? So we're gonna use cocoa butter, and I'm putting this in a double boiler that's already been boiling. You don't wanna put this on direct heat. So we're gonna put this in here, let that boil down, and that's probably about 8 ounces of raw cocoa butter. And then we're gonna put in 2 ounces of jojoba oil. So I am a big fan of jojoba oil, and the reason why is because jojoba oil mimics sebum, and sebum is the oil that our body naturally produces. So when you put jojoba oil on your body's like it kind of hydrates better and moisturizes better because your body thinks it created it, so it accepts it, okay? And the other reason I like jojoba oil is it kind of serves like a wax in a way on top of the skin, so it's very protective. So, and with psoriasis, it gets irritated, so you want to put like a protective layer over it. So we're going to put some jojoba oil in here, and then we're going to add our herbs. And you also want to include some vitamin E oil, which I'm going to add later. I'm not going to put that in right now. But vitamin E oil helps with preserving the oil, okay? So we're just going to put all the ingredients in here. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful. And this is going to, I'm going to let this infuse with the heat for about 2 hours, okay? So there's different ways to get the phytochemicals out of an herb. You can use alcohol, you can use vinegar, you can use water. I mean, you know, cold water, that's tea, basically. And you can also use heat. So we're using heat to get the phytochemicals out of the herb and infuse them into the oil, okay? And then we'll strain this, and then we will bottle it up, and we will be done. There is two more ingredients that I am going to add. One of them I'm going to add now, and the other one I will add later. But I'm going to put, these are cayenne pepper, basically, capsicum, or capsaicin, as some people say. But this red cayenne pepper is great for relieving pain. People may not know that, but it basically depletes the substance P in the nerves, which basically blocks the pain receptors. So psoriasis can be painful when it flares up. So I'm going to put just a little bit of red pepper. This is just capsules. I'm going to have to open up in here. Okay, make sure you don't get on your hands because it will sting. Just going to get some more out. And one capsule is usually about 1 teaspoon. I don't think I got all of it out of this one. Anyway, so this will help with some of the pain relief. You don't want to put too much because it will burn. And then we're going to let this, I'm going to stir this up, and then we're going to let this, as it melts down, I'll stir it up. We're going to let this cook down for 2 hours on low heat, okay? A low heat. You would not want to do this without the double boiler. You would not just want to have the heat directly hitting the oil, because that would just be too powerful. It would actually kind of like, you know, as I say simply, it would like almost like burn the herb, and you don't want to do that. So you want to do it in a double boiler. And if you don't have a double boiler, you can just use a regular saucepan and then put a glass bowl, fill the saucepan with water, and then put a glass bowl on top of the pan, and then heat it up that way, okay? But you do want to keep it covered as well. So this is going to sit for 2 hours, and that's when the infusion happens, and then we will do the rest, which is strain it out. And then I'm going to add one more ingredient once we get to that point, which is aloe vera gel, because aloe is an adaptogen as well. Adaptogens are responsible for regulating different organ functions in the body, but it's also very cooling and moistening in nature. So this is wonderful when you're thinking about something like psoriasis, which is a hot, inflamed condition. So you want to balance that psoriasis with something cool like an aloe, okay? So we're going to add that in last after we have our oil fully infused, okay? All right, we'll be back. All right, folks, we have let this thing simmer for 2 hours, and I let it cool down just a little bit, but this is what it looks like. I don't know if you can see this. There you go. So yeah, the cocoa butter has melted down. The herb has infused, and I can tell because it's got a yellowish tone to it from the turmeric. So we're gonna just strain this baby, like so. I can do this without spilling everything everywhere. It's a beautiful golden color. Okay. There we go. Let that strain out. You can press down and really get more of the oil out. Beautiful. All right. So we have our salve, okay? And now the next thing that we're gonna do, I'm gonna move this out of the way so you can see better. There we go. You just need your containers. I'm gonna just put it in these amber jars. It does not have to be in an amber jar. You can do a clear jar. It's totally fine. So basically, the next step would be to pour the solution that we've made into the jars, like so. But I would not fill it all the way up. Okay, I would leave some space because you're gonna put in a little bit of vitamin E oil, and we're gonna put in some aloe gel. Remember? So. And if there's some remnants in the mixture that you strain, it's fine, you know? Just rub it on your body. All right, so I'm gonna have to make some, I can make a couple more bottles. Actually, I'm gonna put a little bit more in this one. All right, so now the next step, we're gonna add a little bit of aloe, okay? Now you can do fresh aloe. And you can see I'm not measuring because I don't like to measure. All right, and then we're going to do some vitamin E oil, as I mentioned, and you only need a couple drops of vitamin E oil. And this is to preserve, to keep this nice and fresh. Okay, and now you need some very specialized equipment. Chopsticks. Every herbalist should have chopsticks on hand. And you just gotta mix it up. So you wanna mix the aloe and the vitamin E into the blend. And what will happen is we're gonna let this sit for about 15 minutes. You can let it sit out or you can leave it, you can put it in the refrigerator, but you want the the cocoa butter, not shea butter, the cocoa butter to harden. That's the key. That's why we're using cocoa butter. You could also, if you don't like cocoa butter, you can use beeswax. That's also, you can use, beeswax to harden the mixture because the salve is like hard for the most part, and then when you, from the warmth of your hand, it'll melt down when you rub it into the body. So you usually want to use either one of those. You could probably try to use shea butter too, but it's probably going to be a little bit softer. So then we're going to let this sit for 15 minutes. Now this is also the time that if you wanted to add any kind of additional essential oils, or if you wanted to add a scent, I would not recommend adding scents for something like psoriasis because you don't want to add anything extra. It's already a very sensitive area. But if you were making a salve just more general use, this would be the time that you would add your essential oils to change the scent or the fragrance of the actual salve, okay? Because once it's hardened, it's kind of too late. So this is when you can add, and this is also the time that if you wanted to add like natural colors, if you wanted to do a spiral, you can do all types of fun stuff at this point, because it's going to, when it hardens, it'll have like a yellowish tone to it, so you'll be able to see any kind of colors. Or if you want to add fresh flowers, this will be the time to add it. All right. So we'll be back in 15 minutes so you can see the finished product. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you the finished product. This has been sitting for about 15 minutes in the freezer. It needs a little bit more time, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. It's beautiful. I would touch it, but this is actually for somebody. So you would just apply this salve to your psoriasis spots, as needed. You can do it as much as you want. So it's super simple to make. It just takes a little bit of time, but you can do it in a day and make your own salve that is great for reducing inflammation on the skin while also helping out that liver, which is going to be your biggest support system. Honestly, that's the best organ to focus on when you're dealing with autoimmune diseases. Honestly, you got to get that liver cleaning that blood, baby. All right, y'all, take care.